Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Bill Allen, sitting in for Winston Chester this morning, this Thursday, March the 14th. Got a great, very informative show lined up for you with a special guest. We're going to start with our weather. Today, high around 73 with a low of 67, but we got a southeast wind of 15 to 25, so it's going to be kind of tough today. Panama City tides low this morning at 2:30 a.m. with a high at 4:15. Peak times 6:51 a.m. to 8:51 a.m. and then 12:13 p.m. to 1:13 p.m. and we've still got an average water temperature of 67 degrees. So it's going to be a tough day to fish. It may be a good day just to get ready to fish. River readings, Apalachicola at Bluntstown is 15 feet. It crested a little over 18 feet last week, and it's on a slow fall. And Choctawhatchee at Caryville is 9.9 feet. And again, it's a slow fall with some of the rain we've got coming and some of the rain up north. It's going to be very difficult. We're going to still continue to have high water, so always be careful. Do something a little different this morning. Don and I were in Hutchinson Island. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. We ran into this young man, Fabian Leon, who was fishing. Pompano fishing. Of course, I couldn't resist stopping and talking with him, and Donna was able to shoot a little short video. We're going to go ahead and show you that and then come right back with our special guest.
Come here, dude. A lot better than over there. It was bad over there this morning.
Hi.
Hello. How are ya? Yeah, they yesterday caught like 26 of them. Absolutely. Hi, I'm Fabian.
This is Fabian. Hey guys, we're over here at Port St. Lucie on Hutchinson Island. Donna and I are taking a long weekend together. We're walking the beach, and we came up on Fabian here. Great guy, great young guy. And of course, I noticed he pompano fishing. And we've been talking about they have a spring run and a fall run. And I think you're a painter, right?
Yeah, I'm a painter. Yeah.
Yes.
New to fishing, but painting contractor. About a month and a half in fishing. So
Yesterday you caught how many?
I caught 6 keepers. One went away with the ocean wave, and about 10 total because all the little ones were under 11 inches. And this was all from sunrise till about 9:30. I went home about 10:38. Breakfast, went to work for a couple hours. That's when it's at.
You know, I see him out here, and I got to come talk to him and see what's going on. But come up here, Donna. I'll show you. This is a pen reel that he got from his dad, found from his dad's attic.
Yeah.
And of course, that got my attention.
Awesome. You guys do stuff online and stuff? That's so cool, man. I love that. I'll take that.
So anyway, all right, so now this is remote Panhandle Outdoors in Port St. Lucie on Hutchinson Island with Fabian here, learning about how they do it. Now, he's got frozen sand fleas, and we talked about fish bites, which he's familiar with as well. And they're using those over here too. It is a good go-to bait, those fish bites. But anyway, I couldn't resist it. I had to put him on there. We're going to have a new fan of Panhandle Outdoors over here at Hutchinson Island. But thanks, and maybe there'll be more.
Absolutely, they definitely will. Take care, guys.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. I couldn't resist, ran into that young man out there, and he was pompano fishing, and so, you know, I had to get some information. I love the story. He gets that old reel's probably 50 years old out of his dad's attic, and new to fishing, but just out there out there giving it some trouble. So I really enjoyed it. Fabian, thank you for taking the time to talk with us, and I really enjoyed it, and good luck as you continue. And I don't need to introduce him, Mark Coward here.
Good morning, Bill. How are you,
face.
man?
And so we got a lot to talk about this morning. There's some new products that I'm pretty excited about, but just a quick look at, there are some fish being caught right now.
There are. Michael and I, Michael took me out fishing last Friday afternoon, which was nice. And we hadn't gone over in West Bay. We just picked a bank, throwing downwind. Caught them from literally the first cast to the last cast. We just caught redfish after redfish. Michael caught a 23-inch trout on a spoon, which I'm going to show you one of these spoons this morning. And lots of good fish, tons of 4 and 5 pounders. There were a couple of 6-pound redfish mixed in. It's just that time of year where it's transitioning. The fish are feeding. They're really feeding. So if you can find the bait, you're going to find the fish.
Yeah, with that water temperatures at 67, we're right on the cusp of it. And I hear, I know Greg talked to a friend of ours who caught some really nice trout in 4 and 5 pound range, and caught them all top water last week on a good morning.
That's awesome.
Which is my favorite, one of my 2 favorite things to do. But it's just trying to get back to some normalcy. Everybody's wanting to get back out here, and the time's coming, and with this water temperature, and we've all had other things to do.
Right.
And so you need to step back a little bit and know that this is coming, know that we all will get to fish more regularly.
We are. Well, you haven't fished at all, have you?
I haven't fished since October the 4th, and that was one of the best days that Greg and I had had. We had boats, just loaded the boat with redfish.
Great. Isn't that great?
Threw them back. We just caught a lot of redfish. But that was the last time. He is obviously, it's enough trying to run a city, but when you're trying to rebuild the city and do that, he has no time. We talk about it a lot, but we haven't gone. So one of the things that I wanted to mention before we get into some of the product details and that kind of thing, and when you fish a lot, or used to, you have to do the regular maintenance.
That's right.
But especially if some of you guys are like me, and a lot of the others got houses to worry about, businesses to worry about, fishing, some boats torn up. We really need to stop and start looking at your reels, your rods, your line. If you need to get them out to be serviced, or if you're brave enough to take them apart these days, do it yourself. I'm not. But the general maintenance of adding the oil, most of them have the oil ports in them, the grease ports in them. Same thing with your boats. They've been sitting there. You really need to check those batteries. Hook your boats up and run them.
I'll tell you something. We did not think like this. A couple of things that we noticed is that for everybody that's had sheetrock done, there's sheetrock dust everywhere. Our garage, they didn't replace any sheetrock in our garage, but we had sheetrock dust everywhere. So all the reels were covered in sheetrock dust. So, you got to take those out, and you have to be careful. Don't wash your reels with high pressure water. Take the nozzle off and let it run, take the spool off, rinse everything out, because that sheetrock dust is really a very fine particulate, and it'll get in there and it'll cause a problem. The other thing is that a lot of people who have jack plates, your jack plates caught a lot of material being blown around in the wind.
That's right.
Sand and dirt and dust and insulation and all kind of things. Well, if it gets down in the slider tubes, you'll start to hear it squeak and grind. We were taught a trick by T.H. Marine a couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when they came to town and helped Michael do some stuff to his boat. On Michael's jack plate on the Mayak, they literally took dish detergent, like a Dawn or one of those, and squirted on where it slides up and down, and coated that with that, and rinsed it with water, and ran the jack plate up and down, up and down, up and down, and then put some more of the dish detergent on it and left it. Don't put oil or grease on that. Put dish detergent. I had no idea, and that's the people who make the Atlas jack plate. So it's the number one jack plate in the world. But those are the things that we don't think about maintenance. We don't think about the little odds and ends that we have issues with. It's the same as your trolling motor
and your power poles.
All that stuff. Rinse them out. They're I know for us at our house, it looked like a war zone. And the first time after we took the boat out after that, I mean, it sounded like somebody had, everything was squeaking and grinding. We didn't know why.
So good fishing, good weather is coming. Take your time now to go out and do some of that maintenance that you do. And we're gonna go ahead and take a short break and be right back. All right, welcome back. There's always innovations in fishing, and there's one here that is not in stores yet, but will be coming to a tackle store near you. And I would check with Blue Water because they're always good about bringing in new products, and they've got a ton of stuff in there. You can spend half a day wandering around Blue Water over there.
If you hadn't been, you need to go.
Yeah,
you missed out.
Exactly right. But this new.
So this is a spoon. It comes out of Texas. It's called a Nacho Daddy spoon, which is a pretty cool name. It's kind of gimmicky, but I will tell you, we saw these. We were exposed to these about a year and a half ago when they were first being designed. And the only thing that we felt like was we couldn't throw it far enough. So it's an acrylic spoon, and now it's a weighted acrylic spoon with rattles in it. And I don't know if you can hear that at home, but these rattles, you can hear it shaking. The thing about this spoon, what makes it unique, is where most spoons, when you're retrieving the spoon, if you stop, it just sinks. This will wobble down. But one of the other things about this spoon is that if you're trying to retrieve slow, let's say the fish are not as aggressive feeding, and you want to keep it in the strike zone longer, if you are throwing a spoon, what you can't do is slow that spoon down without it starts to lose altitude. It starts to sink, the slower you retrieve. This being designed this way with acrylic, it tends to stay up higher in the water column where you want the bait to stay, above the edges of the grass. It's also really important, one of the great design changes they made, the weed guard on it is not a piece of metal. This will bend. So if a fish comes up and is trying to eat this, it doesn't get where it can't, it'll keep it from getting to the hook sometimes. You don't have that issue with this. It's called a Nacho Daddy spoon. You can go online and order them. They make custom colors. It's a great group of people, but once they weighted this bait, this is a 3/8 ounce bait, you can throw it. Because here, like I explained to those guys, if we're fishing in Panama City, here what happens is that we end up not being able to get close enough to the fish without spooking them, so casting distance becomes a major priority. So you've got to be able to have a bait that you can get some distance out there and get the bait as far from the boat as possible. One of the first things when we started competitively red fishing, Fred Myers would say all the time, man, put the wind at your back and get your bait downwind as far as you can get it, and that's probably the best advice you're going to get. Mm-hmm. But this thing right here is pretty doggone deadly. They eat it. And when they eat this bait, the other good thing is you don't get a lot of tongue hooked fish with this. You get a lot of fish hooked in the sides of the mouth, which is a nice thing, because redfish, you tongue hook a redfish, you got a problem that fish may not make it. But I will tell you, it's a great bait, a Nacho Daddy spoon. Matter of fact, Bill's got a rod here. It's a perfect pairing rod to throw this with, but you need to have a rod that's flexible enough, it's fast enough that you can get a lot of distance out there with it. Nacho Daddy spoon, you should definitely reach out to them and try to find it. The other thing is really cool. It's a strike pro bait, and what this is a wake bait. It's like a crankbait for redfish. Everybody's seen them, the -1s, or Man's made them. All these people made them. They're kind of like an old Big O. It would just kind of wobble right under the surface. Well, this is what this bait does. But the great thing about this bait, you can also retrieve it just under the surface without having to have it act as a wake bait. And a lot of times, if you've got a school of fish that you go across the surface, you can spook those fish. This you can run just under the surface or at the surface. It is a great bait. It's called a hunchback. Got a little bit of a shrimp appearance to it. 2-time strong hooks, which you got to have for a redfish that's got any size to them whatsoever. But this is another great bait that is available in stores. It's a great bait. And all these things you're starting to see come out, they're angler driven. Both of these baits came out of Texas. And those guys are wade fishing for fish the same way we used to fish all the time. So it's the same as what you have. You got to have a bait when you're wade fishing that you can cover as much water as you can, but at the same time, you need something it's dual versatile. If we're out wade fishing, you like to catch just as many trout as you do redfish. You just don't want to isolate yourself out. So these are two really good baits. So if you have a situation where they're striking on the surface but they're not taking the bait, you can tie this on and throw it, and they're probably going to eat this thing up. So it's another really good bait. You know, things change every day in red fishing, change everything in bass fishing and trout fishing. So you just can't stick to the same baits. You've got to learn to get versatile and kind of change around a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, you see it a lot in top water fishing.
Absolutely.
A lot of design. You colors run great for a while.
Yeah.
And then it seems like, you know, that same thing that's been effective so many times.
That's right.
It's you got to go to a different color.
That's right.
And even in the same areas, which always I call it Dalton fishing, obviously,
right.
Because you know my son is a great fisherman, but you know we'll be in the heat of catching fish, and Mark knows this, and he'll change what he's fishing with.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see what they will hit. He wants to see what they won't hit.
Apparently, so he
Is
likes
that not
to,
right?
Well, I guess you know me. I will fish till it's done and worn out, and you can't throw it anymore.
That's right.
But Dalton will change 3 or 4 times to see if they'll continue to hit that or what they won't hit when you're doing it, and it just fine with me. It just used to aggravate me, but you know that's the way he.
That's exactly right.
That's how he approaches what he chooses to fish with. So. We'll talk about this rod. We'll talk about this latest tournament, and we're going to go ahead and take a break. Be right back. All right, welcome back. I just wanted to talk a little bit about something about these spoons too. The way this is molded, this comes up encompassing over maybe a quarter of this
of the eye, yeah.
Of the eye, and the way that it's rounded, this is really going to keep the grass off
absolutely.
of this, where you don't have as much to worry about that as you do, you know, with the standard spoon with that lip coming out.
That's right.
So this is an intelligent design by somebody who fishes.
He is a fisherman. He's a great fisherman. There's no doubt.
I wanted to show you too. You need to, you know, if you take your 6-foot medium heavy rod out to try to throw this, it's going to be unsuccessful.
You can't throw it out of your shadow, no.
Yeah, and there's going to be a big spider web in there somewhere. So, and I've mentioned this before. I have switched to this 13 fishing rods and reels, and this is the Omen Green. It's a 7.7 with an extremely fast tip. And it's still a lot of backbone. You can throw a light bait with this for a mile.
Oh, a very long way.
And still have the ability to set a hook.
That's right.
And, you know, I fished those Terramar rods for years, and they're great rods, but you know, when I went to get that 7.7 rod to specifically throw the lighter stuff a country mile, I could do it, but when you went to set the hook,
you had no backbone.
There's no backbone. The rod just doubles up, and you miss a lot of fish like that you shouldn't miss. But you check out this 13 fishing. I've got a full complement of them now.
Dick's carries them locally. Dick's carries them locally. I believe Angler's Tackle has them. I think Blue Water has them.
Blue Water has them, and this is the, and you know, they're not $350 rods.
No.
They range from
Very
$89
affordable.
to about $139, I think.
That's right.
This one normally runs.
That's about $120, $125 rod. They're really a great value, tremendous quality rod.
Yeah. So, speaking of redfish, kind of, recently you and Michael had a big finish over in Louisiana.
We did.
Right?
We 2 weeks ago, the IFA Redfish Tour event in Lafitte, Michael and I went over and pulled out a top 5 finish. We were really happy with that. Our last 4 events, we've had a 2nd, an 8th, a 2nd, and a 5th. So we're right on that verge, man. We're trying to get that daggum W. It's a tough thing. There's a lot of competition out there. There's really good competition, you know.
And you got some pictures.
We
right?
do. I have some pictures. Yeah, we got some pictures right here. I'll show you. Bill, this right here is a picture of this is really an overslot redfish that Michael caught pre-fishing. Beautiful redfish. There's another one. They're such healthy fish, golden. They're almost like the color of a dark pumpkin. Here's Michael and I on the stage with our two fish. That was 16, just at 16.44 pounds, I believe, just under 16 and a half. We were tied for the lead, which it shows you how competitive this is. We ended up being fifth we didn't have the heaviest redfish of the people we tied with. So we were tied for the lead for a while, then we ended up tied for fourth, ended up in fifth by the way that the rules work out. But two really good quality fish. For the first time, we drew in a tournament boat number one, and it's funny, you sit there and wait all your time to go. This time we got to go first. It was really nice, and it's a rarity to get to. It's hard to get number one, especially for us. We had a very long run that day. We ran probably round trip close to 180 miles to fish round trip. Had less than a gallon of gas left in the boat when we got back. Here we are, we're getting our check. Just a great day.
Checks are always
checks are good. It's nice to be able to say you made money when you're fishing. That's a tough thing to do, I can tell you. But here's a great picture of Michael and I was taken with the cameraman on board, and I'm truly blessed to get to do this with Michael. I can't express to Bill the gratitude I have for him, because Bill played a big influence on Michael and Michael's love and passion for fishing. As Michael was young, Bill and I, our sons were playing football together, and we ended up fishing, and Bill really showed me how. I caught my first redfish with Bill, and but we used to take Michael wade fishing.
I'm still waiting for my cut on those checks.
I know.
Anyway.
I tell you what, he wants it. Yeah. First he didn't claim he had anything to do with it. Now he wants to claim it.
I claim I claim Michael. Again, the brains of the outfit, but.
Well, you were a huge influence.
Yeah, but he had it. He was born with it. It's like Dalton. You just have to. Get these kids out. Take them fishing. Take your time with them. It's amazing, and I'm proud of all these young guys who are now guiding and making a living.
They're making a living on the water.
Like Michael, like Matt, Justin. I mean, that just was so hard to do for so long, and now you can do it, and that's why I'm a big proponent of putting these redfish back.
That's exactly right.
Some people love them, but we put a lot of them back. Well, Mark, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming, Bill. I enjoyed it, man.
I hope you got something out of this. Check Blue Water. These things should be on the shelves, and God bless you and have a great day.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.